how do we relate science and spirituality, science and religion? Each side has to avoid overstatement because overstatement basically procures misrepresentation
Hmm.
of the other side. Scientists just simply assume that its data based on matter and mechanism is, the final story of the universe. But of course, luckily, quantum revolution blew this apart, right? And really, there's no informed scientist today that would hold to an old fashioned materialism. But
Hmm.
again, materialism of this old form is still in the culture, and this poses, at least people think it poses, it does if it's true, a challenge to spirituality. So science, don't overstate your case, right? Because you misrepresent other avenues of data and other avenues of meaning that really need to be included, right?
Hmm.
After all, but then if we look at this side of religion, or spirituality, they may overstate the case by assuming that science simply doesn't add anything to their worldview or can simply sort of be ignored. But again, I think after the quantum revolution, metaphysics, if you want, after quantum physics, throws everything into a kind of melting pot. This is how Whitehead put it. So that science and spirituality, again, can be seen as mutual allies. I mentioned a few of those thinkers earlier, right? Schrodinger, Einstein, Planck, Eddington, all of them were interested in the spiritual dimension. And they didn't see it as inherently contradictory to their science. So why then do we have scientists today who are nowhere near the caliber of these pioneer founders, just asserting that there's a great divide between science and the spirit?
Hmm.
Or metaphysics and mysticism. It just sort of bugs me.
Yeah.
But I think the overall theme here that I'm highlighting is overstatement procures misrepresentation, and no discipline sort of immune to that. We need the best of science. We need the best of spirituality. We need them working together as the interior and exterior domains of human life. And I just think of one of my favorite quotes from Whitehead. He says, "You cannot shelter theology from science or science from theology, nor can you shelter any of them from metaphysics or metaphysics from any of them." And then he follows it up saying, "There is no shortcut to truth." And
Wow.
so, that last line is really brilliant because to the extent that science and spirituality are striving for shortcuts to truth, then they're going to fail. The larger point is truth is collaborative, right? And we need the best of human disciplines and human data
Hmm.
to inform that truth. Otherwise, we're working with half truths rather than whole truths. And Whitehead said, half truths play the devil with whole truths.